All right, so here's another easy meal. You grab a bowl. If you have some bread left over, you kind of want to use up real quick. And by the way, if you're vegan or vegetarian, you might not want to watch this. Take about half a loaf, dump it in the bowl. Reason why I said, not old bread, but bread that you need to use up. Take and tear little pieces just like this into the bowl. You're going to need bread, you're going to need chicken broth, and a couple eggs. This was another recipe which probably isn't nutritious. You probably could switch into a whole grain bread and do this too if you want to make it a little bit less fattening. But this was an easy fill meal that my kids used to enjoy when they were younger because it was cheaper and it was something that was quick to make. Get another knife. And another thing too, when I make my meatloaf, I know there's a lot of different recipes. People use ketchup, people use crackers. I'm not one of those people that likes the crouton-y type stuffing, like stovetop. I got an onion here. This is the kind of stuffing I like it with bread. And two, you can freeze onions, which I do have some frozen. And you can also freeze shredded cheese if you need to for certain things. I just learned that recently. I never had to freeze cheese. But I do peppers and onions. You can use freezer bags, or I use freezer bags and put them down inside a plastic container that, I don't know, I may have bought lunch meat in or something. I like onions, so onions, this is good. I'll probably need to add more bread, but for right now, this is what I'm going to do. 2 eggs. Oops. Hold on, I can wash my hands a little bit. They don't slip and slide everywhere. And I need a spoon. A wooden spoon or this spoon. I kind of like these spoons better because they don't bend as easy. Take the broth. No measuring. You just... My thing broke where I actually poke a hole in a can. I need a new one. So I'm going to put this with a hand one. Come on. Get it out more. We're just going to dump a little bit of this in. I don't measure, I just kind of look to see where the bread starts to get soggy. And there's a little bit laying in the bottom. Mix it up. And see, it's a half a loaf of bread, but look at the shrinkage. It has shrunk a lot. So what you're going to do is take a little bit of pepper, a little bit of salt, shake it over it, just a tad bit of this because you got a little salt in the broth. We're going to do some more bread. About another, I don't know, handful. We're going to tear this up. This is going to be a chicken recipe for those that love chicken. Okay. Stir it up more. You gotta make sure that the bread gets nice and mushy. A little bit more broth in now. Usually I use Swanson. I don't know where that came from. Sometimes we run out over the holidays, so I might have picked that up as extra. Or somebody gave it to me, it's hard to tell. So you get about that much. And it's got to be nice and soggy. Then you go over here. Put this away. Onions. And in my roasting pan, so you guys can see, I already have the chicken. And if you notice, there's a gap in the center, like a hole. And this is chicken thighs. You can do it with legs, thighs, breast, it doesn't matter. I just like dark meat. Then you take this and you scoop it right in the center. Which I'm going to have to kind of flopped out there. You want to get this in the center where the chicken hole is. Dump all this in here. And then instead of using water, you use the remaining broth for the bottom of the chicken pan. That way it's not all watered down. So one big can is going to go a long way. And it's going to make this nice and juicy. So you take your rack out, because you want to use the bottom rack of your oven. So my middle rack's not there. Whoops. Come on, Tim. Okay. Once you do this, you put this in the bottom. And then I set my timer for an hour. Voila. I come back, I check it. Within a half an hour, I'll take a baster. And I'll suck up some of the broth and run it over top of it, which is right here. And then I'll do it again in another half hour. Usually it depends. It takes an hour and a half to cook. You just got to keep testing the chicken. But this here, my chicken was a little frozen still. So I'm thinking an hour and a half is about what it's going to be on 350. There. That is my easy cook meal of the day. And the oven does the rest. You just put the ingredients in. So with that, mwah, have a good evening.